Blood for the blood gods, calls for the throne of corn. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today was back day. So what I've been doing, because I have a bicep day on Saturday, I decided I'm just going to double down on it. There's no need to try to overtrain muscles. I'm like, let's just make the back day a real back day. Right? Instead of trying to throw in a few sets of curls at the end, which is usually what I do, just really focus on back development. Full straight on back day. And I'm going to try to do like 15 sets of really hard curls coming up on Saturday, which seems to work pretty good. So with this, I'm like, I wanted to continue to work on range of motion on exercises. I got to where with chins I can get above the bar, and I can't do that with a wide grip pull-up, but I'm like, let's take a shoulder width pull-up. So I use my arms to find shoulder width each time. Come over and do that, and I'm like, let me focus on coming from a dead hang and trying to get my chin to the bar on every rep, which you can see I have to strain a little bit to get up there. So I'm like, let me just use a nice lightweight to do this. So instead of trying to use a 45, let's just use a 25 and just work on that. And I don't feel any more back doing this, by the way. I almost feel less lat, by the way, for those curious, because people will say, well, that's not the best for the lats when you don't go up over the bar. Like, no, that's more for your upper back, really. Your lats themselves, there's no benefit to that. So, but I'm like, let's just go ahead and do it this way. So again, in this case, I'm trying to take the longest range of motion that I can, which is again going to be shoulder width. Going to my dead hang on most of the reps, you guys can see that is pretty much a hang for me. So that is my full lockout, my scapula come apart. And I took the last set to failure. I tried to do a 6 rep and couldn't. So again, we see the difference of this versus the other, and the same with chins. I'm able to do 5 to 6 reps with a 45 on chins and get above it. Pull-ups, I've got to go down 20 pounds. That's okay, still a great workout. Now obviously, because it's a little bit of shifts in diet and because it's really cold, my skin gets really looser in the cold, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep chipping away at that body fat recomp. I feel like the fasted training and fasted cardio did the most for me, so this week I've started incorporating fasted cardio again. So I want to focus on, again, making actual gains again. Nice lean gains, recomping a little bit. So it's going to be recomposition for a while, and I want to stay here at about 220, which is what I filled back out to when I took the carbs back up. But I feel like all the fasted cardio, the high protein, should continue to chip away at the body fat, just like we see happen in the real world, just like we see in research. And I want to get more jacked, more strong, and bring up the weak links like my arms, my pecs. I want to bring the bench up. And I feel like I can do that as all lean gains with some recomposition. And then if I need to get that waistline a little tighter coming up, I can always do a little bit of a cut. But I do notice, and I think a lot of people try to tell me the fasted training and fasted cardio will tighten loose skin. I didn't believe it, but I did notice quite a bit of difference over time doing it. So I'm going to continue to mess with that. So I feel like as I increase the fasted cardio again, we'll go ahead and see more of that effect. And like I said, I'm just going to focus on getting leaner with it, and I think we'll see good results. So I'm just going to continue to chip away at that. And for people who are like, well, why don't you try to get shredded? I don't want to get shredded. That is not really that golden era type look. And I'm not interested in the standards of competitive bodybuilding. I want to continue to work on looking good, having a good physique that looks good to most people, but I want to be crazy strong at the same time. So it's all going to be power building. So, but again, the squat's coming back up. I feel like my bench will come back up. So I want to get the strength up a little bit. And then I'll probably trim down a little bit again coming up, work on dropping a few pounds of body fat, or maybe a shortcut maybe coming up here. But in the meantime, I just want to try to recomposition a little bit. And I feel like we made good recomp over the last year. When we compared pictures, and I had friends look at it and some other people, I think it was pretty significant of what I did in 1 year. I was a pound heavier, but leaner, and the skin was tighter. Skin tighter on days where it obviously looks better. Until this cold weather shifts through, it may not be there. I also ate some stuff all last week. It caused a little inflammation, minor discrepancy on my part. For those curious, it was the normal milk. I drank a bunch of regular skim milk. Thought, I think I'll be okay. It should be fine, and I've definitely noticed some waistline bloating. So I kind of cut it out yesterday, and I'll kind of see what that does too. So I went back to my Mootopia, which I'm not sure if I put up the grocery basket yet. So again, seal rows after the barbell rows. We did barbell rows. Nice straight barbell rows. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to do more and more beltless. You guys are going to see a trend for that too. I may just try to wear a belt for squats and deadlifts. Probably be the only thing I really wear them on. And I might even eventually try to cut that out and just go everything raw. Like I did my benching this week with no belt, no wrist straps. I hit 4 reps of 315 with a pause. So I don't feel like I need that stuff. Let's just get in and just raw dog most of it. But I do still kind of like the belt for squats and deadlifts. Although I may mess with a little bit and see how that goes without it. You know, might not be the best for my look with the looser skin, but you know, there's a point where I also go, let's just be authentic and not care. All right, seal rows went good. I got about 10 reps on those. The barbell rows I got 12, then I failed at around 10. I couldn't get an 11th rep out of the bottom. It's because these breaks are all pretty short. This was a fast workout. Seal rows, same thing. I managed to squeeze right around 10. And I've tried to stretch on them, but then I noticed on the last set I was able to get to the floor on every rep. So I think maybe on the seal rows I want to see if I can actually stretch to the floor and pull it from the floor each time, right? Dumbbell rows, again, I've dropped it down. I was using 135 for 6s. I'm like, now let's just take it down to 95 pounds. Focus on the stretch. Focus on the range of motion. I got 12 reps on all sets before we pretty much reached the end. And I left about a rep in the tank on these, about 1 rep in reserve. So I hit failure on the last set of pull-ups, the last set of rows, barbell rows. So for the aware, and then I actually did fail on the end of the seal rows. I couldn't get another rep. So these, I didn't quite take them to failure. We got 12s, but it felt like on the last rep, definitely on this last set, I couldn't get another one. And it felt like on the right arm, it kind of felt like I was there also. But again, just chasing a nice pump, nice stretch, getting that full range of motion. And yes, I row all the way to the armpit. I don't believe in the other method. I feel it gives less total back development. This gets more muscles of the back involved. And yes, it does work lats. Look at the stretch at the bottom. Scapula come apart. Lats get worked. So this is 12 sets of different pulling. And then I'm like, let's do some pullovers. So instead of some other back work, pullovers do work my lats. Also the deadlifts do too. So I'm like, let's do some more pullovers. And this is kind of where I'll get the extra chest and tricep, because this is, again, a bigger, you know, not really a big movement, but it is. So it works lats pretty effectively, but I feel a lot of tricep and a decent amount of chest on this. I feel a ton of tricep. So I'm like, if I'm only going to train my triceps really once a week on the pressing day, which the pressing itself, we'll get into that more on pressing days. I do feel a little bit of secondary stimulus on some of these other lifts isn't a bad thing. But I notice if I do them too close to the bench day, it impairs my bench, right? It impairs my incline too. But I feel like on back day, it still works because I have 5 days before I have to press again. That's pretty reasonable. And it helps with my shoulder mobility. That's why I'm cutting overhead press out, because I'm just not getting the range of motion that I want. It's just not there. So I'm going to work these other movements that work range of motion and mobility. So everything today, you guys are going to notice a lot of this stuff we are focused on getting the longest range of motion I can, getting my chin to the bar and possibly over it on pull-ups, stretching on all the rowing at the bottom, taking rows up towards the chest or armpit so that we get more range of motion. It's kind of funny. You do a seal row or something else and and then people have no problem with it going towards your chest. But as soon as you do it with a dumbbell, well, that's not the correct way. And it's like, really? I don't think you guys know physiology. I think we get way more back development. But pullovers, did my stuff and tried to pause near the end to make it really hard. So the 55, we did 3 sets of 12, and then I finished up with a set of hanging leg raises. I'm trying to do leg raises at the end of most of the workouts for the grip training, the shoulder mobility, and of course, obviously needing the abs. Especially if I'm going to do more and more beltless training, I better get those abs as strong as possible. Right? Get them thick, get them strong. So again, core work, kind of a big deal. But pretty happy with today's workout. Obviously, even though there is not a bicep specific day, there's still bicep work. But I feel like coming in, I really want a Saturday to where when I walk in, my whole day is about biceps, right? To where that's all I focus on, fresh, and then we'll obviously get a secondary stimulus on this day because the biceps will get worked by the pulling, but it'll probably just re-spark a little muscle protein synthesis from the curl day. So then when Saturday gets here, I'm going to come in and just hammer my biceps hard through multiple angles, full ranges of motion, taking sets pretty much to failure. and then we finish with the hanging leg raises. Like I said, happy with today's workout, so I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.